11:30, and I thought before I clear my desk and put this aviator folio away incomplete, let me finish it, show you how I'm going to finish it, and then I will link the first part, which I did on the Stamperia page, in the description box, so you guys can find part 1 and you can follow along with part 2. So I'm not going to talk a lot. I'm just going to flip the camera and we can carry on. So just bear with me with the wall for 1 second. Right, so my desk is exactly as I left it on Friday. I had things to do yesterday, so hi there, I see one person. So I thought I'll leave everything and I will carry on exactly where I left off on Friday. So you will have a continuation. Right. Let me just give you a quick recap. I'm just going to move this out of the way of what we are going to be doing. So we finished that side on Friday and I'm going to carry on with this side. I'm going to include the closure and finish the cover. Now I do have some die cuts for the cover, so that is what we will be doing as well. And I'll be putting in the magnet so you can see how I do that. So let me get this back again. And so I'm saying so a lot, my apologies. I wasn't feeling too good this morning when I woke up. I think it's a change in weather or whatever it is, but my allergies are acting up really bad. So we are going to carry on with applying the flaps in here. And I had a question on the YouTube on Stamperia's page when I did the live on Friday was, does this not become very bulky when you add photographs to it? Now it will increase, the bulk will increase, but because there's more than an inch spine here, you should be good. And that's the reason why I actually put the magnet in, so that it can be held together. But also, that's one of the main reasons why I don't put pattern paper on my flaps, because if you're putting paper and photos, then it's really going to bulk it up. So I don't put any pattern paper, and that is why I use this method. It also saves on your pattern paper, you know. So oops, there's something false. So one piece of pattern paper can go a lot further. And I always think, you know, considering what the cost of the papers are, it's a good thing if you can get the same kind of effect using less. Okay, so I'm going to pull this slightly down. I see 2 people there. Hello everybody, thank you for joining me. I can't see who it is, so welcome. So like I said in the video on Friday, I just eyeball this and try and get it as straight as possible. And I use the pattern paper on either side as my guide, more or less, just to see how much space I must leave. I think I need to put a little bit more. And it's not the end of the world if this is slightly off. You can always fix it as you go along, because I know all of us are not, oh there, I just pulled the whole thing off. All of us are not, me especially, I stick skew all the time. So this system of checking before you commit is a good system, especially when it comes to making these waterfalls. So check. And basically what I'm looking for here is to see that that and that is aligned, and then that the gap between the two is more or less the same. And if it is, I pull that out and I commit and stick. And that's all that it is. So I just move a little, take a small piece off, line it up. And it's a lot more difficult to do this with the camera in the middle of your face. But like Shafiq said to me the other day, when I said, oh, I just hope I'm going to get it right on the live, he said to me, but you've been doing this for so long. You should know how to work with a camera in the middle of your face. You never get used to it. So if you are there, just pop me a hello in the comments, then I can see you with ease. So now I have gone and pulled out the whole piece. I hope that one is straight. Yes. And one of the reasons why I put a magnet in here is because it holds everything down. If you watched the video on Friday, you saw how well I burnished this, and it still pops up a little bit. So over time, it does settle down because you're holding it in place. With a magnet. I seriously need to have my specs sorted because I can feel that my eyes are not the specs are not doing it for me anymore. There's a reason why the medical aid says you can have new specs every 2 years. Definitely. Oh, I see Aziza Bibi's on. Hello Aziza, how are you? See, it's a little bit out. I don't know if it's just me, but is anybody else's allergies acting up? It's terrible. My eyes are watery. Tell you this old age is not for sissies, eh? Getting old is not for sissies. Sorry, just needed to clear my eyes there. It's runny, guys. It's terrible. I never suffered from allergies. I don't know where it's coming from now. Last couple of years. It's cute. I was so nervous to go live with the Donies. I tell you, I'd never done a live with him. The only lives I watched was how he goes with Farrell. And I was thinking, oh my word, if this guy's going to go on like that with me, I'm probably going to have like a seizure or something online. Because I was nervous as hell. But it went okay, eh? Still cute. It went okay, except for me messing up with my waterfall with the pattern paper. But he helped me to set it up. There we go, that's better. Now you see there, that's a little bit skewed there. But what we're trying to do is to get it straight here. And like I said on Friday, anything that's handmade, it's almost impossible to get it perfect. Because, and the one thing I can tell you is when you're cutting these pieces, to be as accurate as you can. Don't do it in a rush. Get this as perfect as you can, because then at the end, your waterfall is going to be much, much better. Let's see, this must go up a bit. So this gives me a nice indication as to whether it is straight or not. That's why I close it up every time, just to make sure. We have 2 left. And what I did forget on Friday was to put the little, yeah, doing a live, even though I made notes for myself, I still forgot to put the closure in. But fortunately, I just used glue so I can make a plan and squeeze it into the bottom section. I'm fine, alhamdulillah, can't complain. Except for my allergies. So there is a good, so that line at the bottom there gives me a really good guide. And there we go, that is done. So let me find my other little strip that I'm supposed to put in at the bottom. I may have lost it by the looks of it. I'm sure I have another one around here, so let me just cut another one quickly. Oh no, here it is, here it is. I found it. So, like I said before, I always write on here magnet for myself as a reminder, because when I'm putting down my pattern paper, sometimes you get so excited that you're busy finishing your project and you forget about the magnet. And then it's a whole issue to get the to lift the pattern paper and to put the magnet down. So I'm just going to see if I have a little room here underneath. Yes, I can do it. And I will post the notes or the supplies in the description box here, but I'll also post it on the Stamperia page. Oh yes, I want to just round the edges because I think it just looks a little bit nicer. Oh, that didn't cut too well. There we go. And if you like to distress your edges, you can do so. So I'm just eyeballing the middle more or less. Let's just see it slightly off. And I'm making sure that the edge of this is just before the score line here. Oh, it's a little skew. Let me fix it. One second. The good thing is that the Tyvek releases the double-sided tape really quickly because it doesn't stick as great onto Tyvek. That's why I say burnishing with the Tyvek is very important. So let's do that again. This side has to go in a bit more. There we go, that's better. Okay, now we can burnish. And before I get lost in this whole thing of trying to organize this again, let me glue this down, because this was a whole issue on Friday. Gone and mix them up again. Okay, so here's one. And thankfully Adonis was there to help me put it all together. I'm just going to put it together on my desk. And so hopefully I can just assemble it Okay, that's the hand. That goes there. Here we go. I think that is how it is. So, before I forget about my magnets, I've got, these magnets are called Neo something something. I always forget. But they are really super thin. This is the thinnest magnets I could source in South Africa. I know overseas you can find very nice magnets. But if you look at it, I'll put it on a, oopsie. It's, wait, let me use the metal ruler. It will stick to the metal ruler. So, if you see, it is about 0.6 mils wide, but super thin. It's about a millimeter wide, which is really nice because when it's on your, underneath your pattern paper, you can't see it. But what is especially nice about it is and the reason why those black magnets don't work is because you need a north pole and a south pole for these magnets to attract. So if I do this, I can feel how it is repelling from one to the other. But if you do that, you can see how it flips. Just watch. It flips to the other side. And that is how it sticks together. So what I normally do when I need to put my magnets down is I will get an idea of where I want it to go. So I always put it on this side first. So I need to put it more or less there. Oh, let me just put my fan on. I'm getting very hot. We can at least have some fan before the power goes out. And then what I use to apply my magnet is red tape. Red tape is one of my favorite products to use because it sticks and it really sticks well. So I'm giving myself an idea that I want it. And I'm just going to flip this so you can see what I'm doing. So I want it more or less there. And I will remove the backing, put my magnet down, remove the top one, and I'll replace this. I'll replace that, and then just, now I can't pick up the magnet, it's so thin. Then I'll just pop that one on there so that it hits it at the right spot. The next thing I do is I put a little bit of, and if you've got your own way of doing this, by all means, use what you know. But this is my preferred method. So I will close this now, and I will mark where my other magnet needs to go. And that's all that the glue does. It just gives you a little visual of where that needs to go. And so I will put my red tape down there again, remove it. Hopefully it sticks. There we go. And now I'll put the red tape back on so that my pattern paper doesn't stick to that. Sorry. My pattern paper won't stick to it, or anything else won't stick to it while I'm busy with my album. And there you go. You see? So it gets, I can actually feel that the one is perfectly aligned underneath the other one. So when I actually want to distress the edges of this, and this is the new Create Happiness dye ink from Vicky from Stamperia. I'm not a fan of these for that. Let me just get a little tool. So they work very similar to distress inks. If you've got distress inks, the brown vintage photo or any of those colors, perfect. But what I like about this line is that they've got colors that are different to the distress line. So that's the reason why you need these as well. Her coffee color is really cool. So when I put this down, I remove that, and this red tape backing always sticks to my hands. I've got lots of static. And then I put this, I learned from Emma Lou at Heartfelt Creations. So I put some glue around that magnet like this. You still apply your glue to your paper. I'm using the craft glue from Stamperia. It's really nice. It does not warp or wrinkle your paper. And then you put this down. So what that little bit of glue around, just trying to center that, what that little bit of glue around the magnet does is it gives the paper additional adhesive to stick exactly there. And so the little bump or the little gap between the adhesive that you normally get when you put a magnet down, you don't really have it in this instance because it has that extra little bit of glue there. And so this might take a while, eh? So maybe I'll just give this a miss. We can't be here all day. And now the next thing we need to do is to line up our paper so that it fits perfectly one below the other and the pattern continues. So for this I love to use glue because it gives you the opportunity just to move your things around a little bit. I have to admit though that the Stamperia glue, it sticks really well. So once it sticks, it sticks. I've gone a little bit skew there. Okay. There was something I wanted to do, and now I've forgotten. Okay, let's carry on. So her fingers are there. So the next one is the hand. And this for me is a really cool way of saving paper, but also, like I said, to prevent the bulk inside this flap. And if you didn't watch the live on Friday, this idea I got because when I was in, I think we called it Standard 8 back in the day, or between, I mean, my first couple of years of high school. Clicks was selling a little flip album, and this had saying a lot. My children always tell me you say and so a lot. So the album had these flaps in it, but it was plastic sleeves, so you could put the photograph in the top and in the bottom of the plastic sleeve. And that is where I got this idea from. I don't know if anybody else has done it before, probably. But you know, when they ask me to do a live on Stamperia, I always think about what I can do. It's a very stressful time for me because I always look at the projects that those people do, the Stamperia designers and teachers, and sometimes I feel very inadequate in comparison to them. So, and you know, a lot of people say, don't compare yourself to others, because we all tell ourselves that, but yet we still feel that little bit of insecurity. We are human. So I always try to come up with something that I think is user-friendly, that's doable, that, you know, people can actually go home and try it. So I felt that this was something that you could do, and it is useful. It doesn't take that long to make, and I do have another construction method that is slightly different to this one, because I very seldom use a what they call this, a wrap method. I just wanted to show people that you can do it this way. But if you check out my YouTube channel, you will see that I have got a system using what I call my construction tape. It is one of the easiest albums you can make. In fact, it's one of my most watched videos online. And it's really quick and easy to do. So there we go. That side is done. And so I prefer using that method. On Friday, I actually cut this a little bit too short. So I've got some tape stuck in here. So I'm going to cut that off, the tape, because I kept talking about tape overhang and I don't like tape overhang. It attracts, you can already see how dirty that became just from lying on my desk and from my hands. So this has got to go. It's also going to create unnecessary bulk in here, so I should have just cut it off in the first place. The craft knife I'm using is from Cricut. I'm telling you, I have got a selection of knives in my stash because I'm not good with a craft knife, but this knife is so beautifully sharp right up until the edge. There we go, all gone. It fits absolutely perfectly in your hand, and it's got a lovely grip on the front there, so it's a really, really nice knife. So if you can find that one in and around where you are, I highly recommend it. So I'm going to do the magnet here while we are on the magnet story. So let's just repeat that process. So we find out more or less where we want it. I'm putting my tape down. Let's just swivel the camera or the project, the magnets. And these magnets are available from my shop here in Cape Town. I ship nationwide in South Africa, so if there's anything that you see you would love to have, you can always let me know. You can contact me on my YouTube channel or on Facebook. And like I said before, for all Stamperia things, if you are in South Africa, I ship throughout the country, so you don't have to look very far for Stamperia products. Our range of Stamperia products is very extensive. We've got almost every single paper pack that Stamperia has ever made. And if it's still available and we don't have it in stock, I will get it for you because we order on a regular basis. And I think Stamperia has kind of changed the system of, oops, let me just see, yes. They changed their system slightly. I don't think that went straight. Let me just do it again. Of launching their products. So I think they're going to have a launch every month. So it's going to be hard to keep up, but we will try our best. So I've got that. And I just want to find the sheet that I'm going to use for that side. So this is the other one that I'm going to use on this side. So it is the Vagabond Aviator page, and the code for that one is SBB 875. So I'm going to put my album to one side and just grab my trimmer so I can trim that off. I have an addiction for trimmers, people. I'm sure I'm not the only one. So there are so many trimmers in my stash. It's ridiculous. But I use them all, I use them all. So let us measure that. I need my inch ruler, because I worked in centimeters for the live and it's not my favorite thing to do. So this is 5.5 by, just see in the light, 5.5 by 3 3/4. So I want this. I want this side of the paper, so I'm going to flip it so I can cut it on the right side. So let me just find the 5.5 mark. So that is the 5.5 mark, and I'm going to cut it about 1/8 of an inch smaller than 5.5. And the first piece I'm going to do, let me just see quickly if I trim off the border. I just want to check which part of it I want to use. Okay, so I think I'm going to keep the border because I want the vagabond's face on the first page over there. So if I do it like this, the pencil method, people, for me is the best one. So I'm just going to mark with a pencil there, and I'm just leaving a small gap for myself. So I'm eyeballing a border on the actual page. And if I can see the mark, yes, there, and there, I think. So let's just check. Oh gosh, I cut it on the wrong spot. Typical. Let's just find that mark. I'll have to join it. Ah, see, I cut it on the wrong mark. My eyes are terrible. Let's make a bolder mark there. So that's the right mark. Not the end of the world. I've done this so many times in my life that I know how to fix it already. So let's fix it. Right. So how I fix this is I just add a piece of double-sided tape to the back. Trim it off. And all we have to do is to just line it up. So there we go. I won't say good as new, I'll say practically as good as new. Problem solved. So that goes there. Now we need to measure the gaps in between. So if I look at that gap, it is approximately 1 centimeter. And like I did on the live, I will just show you guys how I do that. Let me just remove that pencil mark because I made a pencil mark on my trimmer, and that was just for my convenience. It's pencil, it comes off. So once you have the pencil mark removed, I can see that that is where the 1 centimeter mark is. So I just make a mark slightly smaller than that 1 centimeter mark. And basically I need, let me just use something that's not going to make a mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I need 10 of those pieces to carry on the picture. So we shall line it up there. 1. And what I am going to do this time, so that I don't end up in a whole big pickle like I did on the live, is I'm going to place them one below the other so I don't end up messing up again. Can't have us sitting here all day trying to figure out how it works. See, so now I've got this upside down here. I want to get my picture right so that I don't struggle when I place it. You know, you've got to learn from your mistakes. 2, 3. This is number 4. This is a really nice trimmer. It's from Tonic Studios. That's 5. The only thing I don't like about these trimmers is that the blades get blunt so quickly. 6. 7. 8. 9. But what I noticed about these trimmers, just while we're on the topic, is that, you know, sometimes you think your blade is blunt, but in reality, what the problem is that there's a lot of residue stuck in this groove here. And when this is blocked, then your blade can't run freely through this groove. And that is when you also get a bit of a furry cut. So before you change your blade, always check that that is the case, that it is actually not, that it's not the groove that your trimmer runs through, that it is the fact that the blade is blunt. So now this is a bit tricky. See, it's moving. Still moving. Okay, just give me a second. Just gonna put a low tack tape there to keep it in place. I just rub the tape on my clothes to take most of the tack off, so that I can keep it in place for a second, just so that it doesn't move when I want to cut. Should be the last one. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. And so the low tack tape just comes off fairly easily from that. Okay, so we've got, I'm just going to distress the edge of the main piece, because here I don't put a photo on the front one because I want to see that. I don't want to hide the paper, and that's why I like to do this, because then, you know, it's always so eina to, or it's an ouch, eina is an Afrikaans word, to cover pretty paper. So, and we can actually remove this if you want. The boo-boo. Line it up. Let's see if I can put my light on. I'm having trouble seeing, but only be for a few minutes because I think we got load shedding at 12. Oh, that's much better. And so now we can carry on with the waterfall and stick all the, hey, there my light fell off. We can stick all the rest of the pieces together. I just clip my light back on 1 second. These lights were not meant to clip on here. This is my MacGyver move. So they're not, it's not a perfect solution, but it works. So like Adoni says, when you cut yours, you will remember this live where Shamela could not find all the pieces. And when you cut yours for your waterfall, make sure that you keep them in sequential order. And I'm using the bottom of these lines to try and stay in place. My glue is getting to an end. Very sad. I'm always sad when my stuff comes to an end, but kind of also happy in a way, because then I know I've actually used it all up. You know how we hoard things for that rainy day or for that special project, and when you come back to it, it's gone, and it's gone hard or it's gone old. So it's like when they say mixed feelings. Oh, this is a bit skewed. Come on. And this one. Oops, 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 oops. That will bug me. There we go. Better. I've had too many of my products go off on me. So when I have something and I want to use it, I use it, because you know, you spend the money on the product to buy it in the first place, and then I know we all like that. We're stingy to use it because we want to keep it for another project, and it's not. Is that the right one? Yeah. You know, people, if you waste it, then you're wasting money. So if you have got something that you've been saving for that rainy day project, make that project. Use your stash. Every year I start the year saying, this is the year I'm going to use my stash. Okay. And the last one's going down. Okay, that's a Vagabond done. I actually love the fact that you can see the picture like that. Right, now we need something for the middle piece here, and I normally refer to my papers that I have already cut to find something to fit in there. So let me see. I actually like that piece so much here. I love this little bit of, let me see, I'm not in shot, sorry. I love this little piece of distressing here. Maybe I must just move my camera slightly. There we go, that's a bit better, I think. I love that distressing there, and that is, if I'm eyeballing, because you know, you've got such a lovely story going on here. I'm just eyeballing that, and I think it should be about just over an inch, so it's 1 1/4. So if I cut it at 1 1/8 of an inch, which is about there, perfect. I'm going to cut that off. And that is 21 centimeters high. So let's see. What did I say? One, I'm going to do it there. So we just mark it out for you quickly. That is the 1 1/4. So I'm going to cut it just a 1/16 smaller. I can always trim off if it's too much. And then I'm going to take it. Okay, I want to use the side ruler as well. So let me do it this way. So there's one. That's one. This one is dirty now. I can't see the marking on it. So that's 1 1/2. That's 1 1/4. So I'm going to cut it about there. But I know that the height of my album is approximately 21. So I'm going to start. Let's just measure in inches quickly. So it's just a little bit more than 8 1/2. Oh, what the heck, I'm just going to cut it right down. It should be fine. I'm not disturbing Sir Vagabond at all, so that's fine. Because I want that to go there. Yes, I like that a lot. Oh, I love that. Look how beautiful this is. This is such a beautiful piece. That's one of the things that I absolutely love from Stamperia papers, is that, now let's just see where the mark is. I don't want to cut it off. Is that on a single sheet of paper you can get so many variables, and especially if you're a card maker and you're cutting up paper like that, there's just so much on one piece of paper. It's so cool. There's so much thought. The designers or the graphic designers who have put their time and effort into recreating these papers are just incredible. I have a great respect for those people. And also, I made a boo-boo here. I cut that to short. So I just want to see if there's anything that I have that I can cover it with. Like maybe a crayon or some paint or something. So just give me a second. I've got some white Allegro paint from Stamperia. Just shake it down to the bottom. And I'm just going to cover that with the paint so that it's not so visible. And we'll have to wait for that to dry, but I can work on the cover in the meantime. These paints dry fairly fast. And what I might do after this is use the vintage paste from Adonis to distress all those edges anyway, so you won't see it, but just try to cover it up a little bit. So that's going to go there, and then we need a piece for those two edges. And so I always refer to my offcuts first before I cut up any big sheets. I always go back to the strips to see what I can get. Oh gosh, look how gorgeous this is. I'm gonna have to cut Sir Vagabond up. Sorry, Sir Vagabond. Let's first see. think I like that piece. Yes. Okay, that is what I'm going to use. So let's see. This is, I'm gonna cut it just a little bit short of 6 inches long, and that is, so we need about a 3/4 inch by 6 inches, which means the paper is 12 inches. So if I cut it off there, I can get 2 strips out of it. So that will be number 1. Let's measure that. Yep. And number 2. So we can decide which side of the paper we want to use. I think I like that. I think I like the reverse better. So we do need to round the corners, because we have rounded the corners on that one, and I'm going to distress the edges because I love distressing. Tim Holtz changed my life when he introduced dye ink. And I have to say that I am a huge fan of the oxides. Okay, this one is a bit too long. Oh, I didn't trim this one. So I can glue that one down. So let me just explain to you why I'm using. So this one clearly matches that because it's got all those little elements there. But when I flip it over, they've got similar coloring, but it's just different, a different picture. And I like all those different elements there, so I'm using the other side. I just feel that with this side, there's just too much of the same. So we can have something different on here. But they're still cohesive enough to match. And that's one thing I love about the papers, is that just making sure that this is the right way up. Because trust me, I will glue it down the wrong way. The nice thing about using Stamperia papers is that the Aviator range will match with all the other Sir Vagabond papers of the past. So you can mix and match. Oh gosh. Now you see. I still like that one better. Script, man. When I see script, I just lose it. I lose it when I see script. I love script so much. And then we need the similar for the inside. So, see, that paint is dry. We can put this down. Hi, Michelle. Hello, Kelly. I'm not always good at checking comments, people. I apologize. I get very much engrossed in my project. I need to learn that skill. I always admire Artois de Moi. He's a British crafter, French-British crafter. If you don't know All and Create, go and check out his stuff. He's got some amazing things. His stamps are to die for. And so I will always watch him, and he replies to every single message on his chats. This guy's awesome. So how about we do, let's just see. I think I'm going to use this, but I'm going to chop off the New York, because when you look at the New York, you can see it's part of something, and I So I can probably use that for something else. So yeah, I think I'm going to use that. So what did I say? I'm going to just trim it off there. And make this. So it has to flow. And it has to, let me just see, I'm not in shot there, sorry. It has to read the right way, so don't stick it upside down. So I'm just marking it. And I'm going to cut it. And remember, the rounded corners come on the opposite side now. Like that. Distress. Magnet message. And put some glue around your magnet. Ugh. See, I'm getting two-minded again. I'm looking at that side and I'm thinking, oh, isn't that better? Yes, this is the right way. Okay. Done. And now we need to do the other side. I think I'm going to use the opposite end because I like that, the cog. So, what did I say? Over there. And we shall use the pencil method again to mark it. The pencil method is I didn't know that Adonis also uses it, but he mentioned on the live on Friday that, I said my name, Shamela. I like that you're doing, because that is exactly how I do it. So it's easy. It takes the measuring, the headache of measuring out of your project, really. I think many of us are so hard on ourselves. I just want to trim a tiny bit off here. We are very hard on ourselves when it comes to measuring things and making sure that things are straight and aligned. I'm just like that, and that is why eyeball pencil method. Wow, man. This is what Stamperia does to me, you know. Now I'm looking at that. I actually think I'm going to use this side. I like the tones of color in here because it goes with that at the bottom as well. Woman's prerogative to change her mind. Oops. So the thing is, when I do an album like this, I don't just stick. I try to match things up. And like I was saying, with Stamperia papers, it's so easy because they've already done all the hard work for you. They've done all the mixing and matching and stuff. So there we have it. That is our inner. And now we need to do the outer. And what I thought I would do for my outer edge is add some cardstock. But I also thought, I wonder if I shouldn't put a closure on. But you know what? This actually stands up quite well, and even with photographs it's going to gape a little bit. So maybe I should put the closure. And just give me a second, I want to see if I've got some stone paper to put on here, because I think stone paper will make a really nice closure. I'm not sure where my stone paper is, so let's just go with card. That's the problem. Stone paper would be cool. If you don't know what stone paper is, just go and Google it. I've got on my YouTube channel, I have a stone paper project that you can actually go and check out. It is one of the most amazing products available. It's indestructible, so you can try to tear it, you have to cut it. You can die cut it, however, but really, really cool product to use. So this is one of the offcuts left over from the 12 by 12 that I cut for the flaps on the inside. So I'm going to use this as part of my closure. It is very much too wide, so I'm going to trim that down. Just close the door. And I'm going to maybe make it about 2 inches wide. I think 2 inches should be fine. I'm also going to round the edges. Let me see. 2 inches is too wide. Not aesthetically appealing enough for me, so let's see this one. I think that's a bit better. So yeah, I think that's a bit better. I've just eyeballed it, so let me measure it and tell you what the length, what the width is. What happened to my ruler? Oh, there we go. It's gone into that craft. So it's 1 4/8, 1 5/8. So just a little bit bigger than 1 1/4. Now, with this is too long. So what I do is I hold my book up and I measure that. So that is approximately about 1 1/2 inches. So I know that I need a 1 1/2 inch gap here. So let me just get that into shot. So let's look at this. I want my closure to reach about there. I'm going to mark it. And then I'm going to leave approximately a 1 1/2 inch gap. So that's 1 1/2 inch. I'm going to do it around about there. And then, so there and there is where I need to score this, so that if I put it on here, it will have a score line there, and it will have a score line there, so it will fold nicely over our closure. I hope that makes some sense. Grab my scoreboard. This is the adorable scoreboard from Haki Dori. What's nice about it is it's got inches on the one side and centimeters on the other side, which is really cool. I find it a little bit bulky, to be honest. My Martha Stewart one is with my cricket stuff, so I don't have it with me here. But it's nice. If you are somebody that wants to work with inches and centimeters, I never use these plastic things to score with, because they become blunt. These edges, they wear away. So I use those just to burnish, and normally, there it is, I use a little ball tool to score, because with a ball tool, it scores so much nicer. It's got a rounded tip, and basically that little round tip there makes a very nice indentation on your score mark, on your score line, and this does not wear away. So really love the ball tip. And so fold towards the bubble, burnish well, And by burnish, I mean, let me just make sure that's straight. We are, so now you telling your paper that that is how you need to be. And if we put it onto our project, you can see that it gives your book a little bit, so it is too big at the moment, but when you add your photographs, it is going to expand. So it gives your book a place to expand. Okay, and all we need to do now is add some, let me just put some tape as well, because this is going to be a working hinge. And anything with a working hinge does require some extra adhesion, and for that I'm also going to put some glue on, because what is the glue going to do? It's going to give me the chance to change my mind and to move things around a little bit. And so I am just eyeballing top and bottom the center of my book, and so let's just do it like that and like that. So that is how I put that on. And we now need to also add a magnet to that so that that will close. So there we go, we got our magnet. And I want the magnet more or less there, which is approximately in that, oops, see the glue didn't stick yet, sorry, I forgot on Tyvek it stays wet for a little bit longer. Okay, so let that dry, just give our glue some time to set. We can work on the cover in the meantime. So what I want to do is I want to use this for my cover, and I'm thinking that I can use this entire expanse, because then if you look at the cover as a round, the pattern will follow. And I'm just hoping that this is enough paper. Let me just measure this. This is, yeah, I think it will be enough because I'm going to leave borders. So this is where I'm going to put my cover on. So we pencil method this. So I'm going to mark it approximately there. So that's the one mark, and then the other mark, mine shot there. The other mark is around about there. So I'm going to snip that. Right around it should be the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it off that way, because then I've got a full piece of this length here in case I want to use that full sheet on something else. Okay, because if I trim it down at this point here, where's my first marking now? See, I lost it. Oh, there. If I trim it down here, and I'm going to trim it afterwards, then I have a short piece and a short piece. So if I trim it first along that length, then I've got a whole piece like that. So I might not use this on this particular project, but if I have another project using the same paper, I've got this beautiful long border that I can use someplace else. Does that make any sense to you guys? Hi Francis, hello. Hello Charlene. We were supposed to go off at 12. I think Shafiq had the time wrong. I'm sure he had the time wrong. Right. Let me find the mark. Oh, there it is. So maybe we're going off later than 12, and now I didn't make any lunch. Right. So we've got the one piece cut. And that is where the other marking is. So that is my front cover there. Great. And now we need a piece for here. Remember I said I want to wrap it. So that I'm going to cut on 1 1/4. So we've got 1, and that's 1 1/4. And so theoretically, if my measurements are out, it doesn't fit. Okay. I shall add another piece in there. Theoretically, Shamela, you were wrong. But no problem. I have lots of strips that I can put in there. And I love to paper piece, so that will be good for me. Right. The other one, I used this side. So I want to make a change, and I'm going to use this side for this one. Actually, maybe what I should do, hold on a second, is use that. Okay, let's embellish the cover with a short piece. You see, you can make a plan with anything. I'm going to put this on the back. And so we are going to distress this. This brown is a really lovely brown, eh? It's different to the Tim Holtz browns. And my poor tool is shedding. You see what's happening? It's old. It's well used. It is shedding. So, I've got that. And I'm also going to distress my spine. But you know what? Even though the paper is patterned, you can actually add other things to your pattern paper, like distress inks, like stenciling, texture paste, glossy gel. There's lots of stuff that you can add. I thought we were supposed to go off 2 o'clock. Oh, you had it wrong. So I thought I've got some of the Vagabond stencils, and so not that one. This is the one I'm looking for. I love this stencil, and I don't know what the code is. Maybe if Frances is still watching, she can pop the code in the comments, because with this stencil you are getting so much. You're getting a little propeller. I love the font that they used on here, so you're getting so much on here. And so just to add some extra bit of fun to our background, and I'm going to use the burgundy because I checked it out, and the burgundy is such a cool color. I just need to get a tool for it. I'm just using a pink. I'm sure this is dry already, so it should be fine. So I love words and I love additional details. So I am just using the stencil randomly on here. And what it will do is it's just going to give me extra texture on my cover. And I love that idea. Look at that. I think that is so cool. So I want some words here at the bottom. I love the script. So and so you don't have to leave your pattern paper as is. You can have a lot of fun by adding extra things to it. And this way, you will differentiate your project from the next person. So we're all going to use different parts of the stencil, and you can add a unique sense to your project that nobody else has. And I like that idea. I like the fact that I can make mine different to yours, even if we're using exactly the same paper, if we're using exactly the same products, yours can be different to mine. And is this burgundy not a beautiful color? I think it's a stunning color. Let me just wipe my stencil. Oops. I'll dunk it in some water later, but I just want to keep most of the the color off. Okay, sorted. And then on the spine, I thought I would show you something different. So let me just check if my crackle paste is still good, because it's been open for ages. Oops. Oh yes, still beautiful and soft. So what have I got? What else have I got here? Let's see. We can put some of the brickwork onto the spine, and this is really nice, because what I'll do is when I do edit this video, I'll add a couple of pictures to the front of it. I hope I can figure out how to do that. I know, I'm not sure. Or I'll post it on the Stamperia page and on the South Africa, the Stamperia South Africa sales and new arrivals page, and I'll post pictures of the finished one. Then you can see how this crackle turned out, because it is absolutely incredible. I love this crackle paste, it's amazing. And it is a one-step crackle. You don't have to fight with the crackle. You don't have to apply several coats of something and another one and wait for things to dry in between. It cracks, people. Single application cracks. And it comes in gold, silver, it comes in white. Important to clean your stencil immediately afterwards. Once it dries on there, it's there forever. And you know, your stencil can be stained, but if the pores or the holes of the stencil is blocked, then you have a problem, because then it's not going to work anymore. So I'm going to put this to one side to dry, and I've got that. And now we can work on our cover quickly. Oh, let's put the magnet on. My glue must be dry by now, so let's do the magnet. Oopsie, I threw the strip away. So we've got that. I'm going to put my glue on. Thank you, Francis. And then I'm going to mark that where my tape needs to go. And just remember, when you're marking this one, you need the book to flop open a little bit, so that can be, so that the score lines are meeting up with each other. Otherwise, when the book is done, your project's not going to close properly. Same thing when you're closing it and you're putting the magnet into place. You just need to make sure that that and that is lined up. Okay, we're not sticking. I see the indentation, so I'm going to do that. And I'm going to, that's the wrong one. Where did I put it? Oh yeah. So I'm going to cover it there. And I'm going to cover that one and just check if it works. Yep, you see? Now it closes. So when you're handling this book prior to adding your pictures, it is going to look a bit bulky, loose, like this one does. Can you see there? But you're leaving room for your photographs. You have to remember that you need to leave room for your photographs. So where's my short piece? So this is the story of the short piece where we missed the boat. Right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a border to this. And so I really like this piece in the middle here. So I'm going to trim that down, and then I'm going to adjust this piece to accommodate that, because then that's what our cover is going to look like. Oh, I think that looks really lovely. So, that is me too, Francis. So let me just trim that down. trim that. And so I will still have this piece of the border for something else. I might even use it for the closure, you never know. Okay, I'm going to tack that to the side again, because I don't want it to move. See, got the tape off. Sticking it to your clothes works like a bomb. So this is going to go, yes, I want the dark next to my, so that is going to go there. And I think this is going to be a lovely, ooh, maybe I must do it like this, because then I can add some extra embellishments to that. Okay, it doesn't matter, the measurement will be the same. I can always make up my mind afterwards. Sidetracked, don't get sidetracked. Okay, trim. See? Okay, that is a little bit longer. I need to make it more or less the same size like the pattern paper. Okay, so let's just see how it's going to look. Now remember, this is where there's a join. So that is where there's a join on this thing. And this has to be free of that join so that your hinge of your spine can work perfectly. Just bear that in mind. I like it like that. And like that. And I'm going to leave, this is one of the things I do with paper piecing, I leave a little gap there, because your eye can definitely see that there's a gap. And what I might do is, if I've got some like rope, or not lace, because lace doesn't work with this, some rope or string or cord, I might put a piece of cord on there just to embellish it up. So I think that is, I like it like that. And so now I just want to measure what I need to take off. But I'm seeing that rust there at the top, and I want the rust. So I'm going to flip it so I can see how much I need to cut off, because I don't want to cut off on the rusty side. Does that make any sense to you guys? Because I want to keep this rust here. So let's do that. That's going to go there. That's going to go there. So yeah, I was definitely overly ambitious when I thought I could finish this in an hour live. I'm already on another hour. So that's more or less where I need to trim. And yes, just making sure of the mark. Okay, so we've got that piece, and so now I've got my rust there that I wanted to keep, and I'm just going to distress my edges. At this point, if you wanted to create extra dimension on this project, you can easily cut into all these bits. Maybe we should do that. I'm just worried about time. Just a bit worried about the time, because that's what I love to do. I love to cut out, I would cut out all these bits and create a dimensional project. But let's not go there, because that will take another half an hour or so, and I've got the die cuts that I want to put on here as well, so okay. Right, so let's glue this down. And we're just eyeballing the middle, making sure that it is as center as possible. And we can stick this one down next. Where's that thing? I can't get this off. Remember, I put a little bit of glue around the magnet. And I'm looking at the side and I really like it, but I've already got one like that, so I don't need another one with that same cover. Just ignore it. Okay, all done. I think that turned out pretty well, considering we made a booby. And now we need to cut something for, I can actually glue the back on now as well. Let me just open this up so you can see the whole one. And we can put that down on there. And our crackle paste has already started. Oh, it's dry. Wow, that's cool. That was very fast. Just cleaning my nozzle off because I don't want it to leak everywhere. That's the right side. Okay, and this can also go on now because it's dry. Now what's the right way? Yep. That crackle is intensely cool. What we can do with the crackle is you can add some of Adonis's vintage paste to the crackle, and that will increase the visibility of the cracks. For that, however, you need to add some mixed media glue to seal it down, so that when you wipe off the rest of the vintage paste, you actually get the paste off the areas that you don't want paste on. Right, and now we can do our, just make sure that's adhered. We can do our closure. Okay, back to the offcuts. Ooh, will this fit? Oh, what a pity. That would have been so cool for the closure. Now I'm sorry I didn't make my closure a little bit narrower. What do I have here? That's a bit too dull. It matches, but it's a bit dull. Let's see what else we have. So remember, oh, there. Remember, this is all from, that's one sheet. This is a sheet, and this is a sheet. And whatever else I'm using on this folio is still from those same sheets of paper. Okay, I didn't go into another piece of board or into another sheet of card and to cut that up. That is gonna look cool on there. Oh, I think I'm going to use it like that because then it will coordinate with that. Perfect. So let us get the trim out. Sorry, Sir Vagabond, I'm cutting you up. So that was approximately 1.5. So if I cut it, round about there. What did I do with my little piece of tape? I think I threw it away. That's 1.5. So that's what I do when I have a small piece and I can't control it, because it always shifts in the trimmer. When you close the trimmer, it always shifts. And so let's see. Yep. So I'm going to first round the corners and then I'm going to pencil mark it so that we get the perfect measurement. Now I just need to find that pencil mark. New specs required ASAP. Oh my gosh. And my eyes got bad pretty late in my life, but it's like going downhill so fast. It's ridiculous. Okay, that can go. Oops, don't move, stay there. Okay, and then we need a piece here. And so we can continue the pattern, which is great because there's enough paper. Let me just put myself in shot, sorry. Where's the mark? It is over there. And so I can just trace it. And we can glue that down. So when my glue starts getting to an end, I don't tilt, I leave the bottle lying flat down. I don't know if you noticed that. So that when I'm busy, I don't have to wait for the glue to run to the tip every time. Oh damn, I stuck it upside down, sorry. Oops. That would not have been cool. Right, so we got that. I like that. And now we need to do the inside. And let me find something for the inside. So for the inside, I can use this piece because I actually don't mind. And it would be nice to have New York there. So I'm just going to trim that right down on 1.5. And all my bits is going into a basket next to me. So when I'm done, I'll put it in a, you know, I'm a hoarder, so I'll put it in a little bag. You're shouting at the screen saying wrong way. Thank you, Kelly. I heard you. I heard you. So we're pencil marking that piece there. And this dress. So I don't know if you guys saw Belinda's reveal of her projects last night. It was on, I think it was on Facebook. I can't remember where I watched it. I only watched till about 11:45 because it was getting late. They only started 11 o'clock our time, which was a bit late. But then, of course, we are running on 2 different time zones. And pencil has disappeared. Where did you go? Honestly, I have a little, oh, there we go. I even got a topper on the pencil so that I don't lose it. I still lose it. But Belinda's projects are insanely gorgeous, guys. Um, tell you, we are living on the wrong continent. As crafters, we are living on the wrong continent. All the exciting stuff happens in Europe, in the UK, and in the US of A. And to get a celebrity out here is going to cost an arm and a leg. Look how nice that side was. I could have used that side. Too late. Kelly, we're sticking straight. Oops. Around the edges. And now I'm getting glue on my little edger thing. Okay, so you gotta go a bit more. New York. Let me see if I can get the glue off before it dries. Yep, we got it. Don't know what we did without baby wipes before. Right, and now I've got some die cuts here, and so let me show you what I have. I've got part of the Vagabond Aviator, the normal die cuts, which is this one. And if you've never used Stamperia's die cuts before, people, it is chipboard quality. You can see they don't warp and bend like cheaper die cuts. It's insanely gorgeous. And that code is DFLDC61. So if you are into steampunk and that kind of thing, these die cuts are incredible. And then the clear die cuts. It's printed on acetate. And the colors in these die cuts are so beautiful. Oh my gosh. So I've just taken out a few things because I've restricted myself to a few things. And the code for the clear die cuts is DFLDCP27. If I don't restrict myself to a selection of things, then we shall be here till doomsday to actually figure out what I'm going to do. So I love clocks. So we got a clock. And so what we're going to do is to just figure out a little quick composition so that we can not be here all day. And if you haven't done compositions before, it's a process that takes a while. So I could be here for a little bit of time deciding what I'm going to do. I love these gears. They are so cool. And these are the clear die cut gears. What's nice about these die cuts is that they are light. So if you're doing something that you want to hang up or something that you don't want to have a lot of weight to, they are cool. They really work very well. Righty-o. Ooh, this thing. I put it in because I thought it comes from the clear die cuts, but I thought it will look really nice on there. So I'm not even going to think much about it. I'm just going to put it down. So, and then I'm thinking that I love to stagger things. So I'm going to try my best to explain to you what I'm doing and why. So I love to stagger things, and I think the clock is a little bit on the biggish side, so if I use a smaller circle, we kind of creating some sense of flow. That's the one thing. Then I want to put from the gears underneath, because now the gears will give me extra dimension on my project. But they're also circular, you see, so, oh, my nails, I can't pick up this clear die cut. So it's nice. They actually, the circles all go together, which is really cool. Let's see. I might put this slot here, because when something goes further away, they become smaller. And so if we put the Vagabond over there, he has to be in it because he's the main character. He has to. Got the gear, got the gear. That will look good there. I can put travel. We can put this cover. And we can even maybe have, yeah, I think that's gonna do it for me. I'm not gonna fuss much. So foam tape gives dimension. I've got my selection. Okay, well used. 1 millimeter. I just use 12 mil foam tape. That's the width. But the height, oh no, this is the 1 millimeter. So there we go. That is the 1 mil. Then the thickness of this one is 1.5 mil. And the thickness of this one is 3 mil. This one I use mostly for shaker boxes because you need that height on a shaker box. But when push comes to shove, I might even use this as well on a composition if I want extra dimension. A lot of the times I use the 1.5 mil with the 1 mil together, so that gives me 2 mil height when the 3 mil height is too much. So I hope that gives you a little bit of insight into how I think about this whole stuff. So let's see. I'm going to put the clock. Let me just wipe that glue that's coming off there. I'm going to put the clock on. Maybe I'll just move that like that. With a 1 mil. Because even though it will look nice flat, I do want it to be raised somewhat, but not raised by so much that it is standing all in the middle of everywhere. So the 1 mil is going on there. Right, so we've got our, oh no, I wanted it like that, man. So the 1 mil is going on. This I'm going to glue flat. Look up, I'm going to glue flat because I want it to fit underneath here. So I am going to, without thinking too much, I'm just going to put my look up down. Let's put my look up down. That sounds hilarious. But the reason why I chose the look up is because I have this hot air balloon. So, you know, look up at the balloon or whatever. This is just in my head. And so I'm also going to stick the gear down because I don't want to raise it too much. So, and it's already slightly raised because it is a chippy. Right, so we got that. We're committing, people, we are committing. And I'm gonna I'm putting down my clock. Everything else will have to just slide under. Right, this one. See, now I committed and now that doesn't fit. Okay, Let's see, maybe we can put this somewhere else. Okay, that works. That also works. Was it here? I think so. Where's the other gear? Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm just thinking. This does not come naturally to me, unfortunately. I think he's gonna go there. So we need a piece of the 2mm. So I'm just putting a piece at the bottom of Sir Vagabond, and the reason for that is because that is already raised, and if I put just a piece of foam tape at the bottom there, I can glue his head down straight. And I can put another piece here just to reinforce that. Yeah, I think that works. Let's commit. We are making a quick commitment today. Quick commitments. I'm definitely putting travel there. And so we have a big thing. What's this? Hot air balloon, and we have a small one. I think the small one works better. What do you guys say? Oh no, Kelly. There's a reason why God decided to put us in South Africa. I will always say that. There's a reason why I don't live in America. My family would be on what do they call it? On welfare support. Honestly. God was wise. So I'm just putting glue there because this one I'm putting underneath the vagabond's head. Oh no, he's leaning down. We need a little piece. Come. I don't want it to lean. So I need a small piece of 1mm. I'm just sticking it on top because I could see that it was slanting down, and I don't want it to slant down. I want it to be in line. Let's see. Like so. That's better. And the word discover can come in there somewhere. Ooh, I wanted Broadway. I wanted this in. That can go there. We can actually have... not so fond of that placement. Now I'm sorry I didn't give myself more stuff. More stuff to play with. Ah! Okay, put travel down. Then my eyes can see where I'm at. So I'm putting 1.5mm under the travel chippy because I think I'm going to put it there. And I'm going to cut that one in half and see if it works better if I cut it. Yes, I think it works better if it's cut, so I'm putting 1mm tape under, and I'm just going to brown that a little bit. That edge is a bit too white for me. So, did I have it here? And so when Broadway goes there, Oh yes, that works. And so I just need a piece of tape underneath Broadway, like that. And we need a small piece on the edge here, like that. Ah, like that. I like that a lot. No, we don't need it. We do not need that. There's a reason, or you need to kind of get to a point where you must quit. So I'm not going to use that other gear. I'm going to restrain myself. So Broadway can go down. I like Broadway there. So like that. I think it needs a little bit more tape under. It's not sitting nicely at that point. The small piece. I mean, you do not have to be so fussy like I am. That is going to bug me. Nope. Straight. There we go. That's better. Discover. People, the thing behind mixed media is if you put something down, and sometimes like the gears now, you need to cover it, we just cover it. It does not matter, you know it's there. I'm torn between putting it there and putting it there. I actually think I'm going to put it on that side, because then my eye goes from the side up to that side. And I just said to you guys now, don't worry about covering something, but I do not want to cover look up. I had a reason for the look up. See, I restricted myself, and now I want to go back to the die cuts to go and see if I have anything else. I kind of feel it must be somewhere here, but there. And I'm covering look up. Just do it. That's where it works. Just do it. Sorry. That's where it needs to go. That's where it's taking me, so. It has to be somewhere here, man. Actually, right there. Sorry, guys. This cover is going to cover look up. Maybe I have another look up somewhere. I'll find it. Too bad. So sad. It's leaning slightly, so I'm going to go with foam tape. Ja, Francis, ons sal bankrot wees. Totally bankrupt. I'm still faffing. But do you agree that that is the right place for it? I think it is, so I'm just going to go. I'm just doing it. Sorry, look up. Oh, stay straight. It's not straight. Yeah, I think that is where. And now I'm gonna add some stuff if I can find it. So just give me a second. I put it away. The thing is, what happens when you reorganize your craft room is that sometimes you lose stuff. So this is Stamperia Glamour Sparkles, and has to be my favorite color is the burnt umber. I love the burnt umber because maybe it is because I was on the Lady Vagabond team and I needed to use those particular colors a lot. But this one, unfortunately, has been discontinued at Stamperia. It is the extra gloss finish. I spoke to the marketing department and they said to me that if the designers request a return of a product, then they will bring it back. I'm not a designer there. I'm just a guest now because my Lady Vagabond stint is over with him. But I think that Glamour Sparkles, that the extra gloss finish is the best thing ever. Fortunately, Ranger still makes glossy accents, so you can find a similar product. But I love the Stamperia version. It is so beautiful and clear and it's just so nice. And so I'm just going to put a little bit. For me, what finishes my project is a little extra nuances and additions that we put on it. So I'm going to grab my little tray. And when I take this tray out, then Belinda says, you were all fancy, I just use a piece of paper. So if you don't have a tray, you can use a piece of paper. I still bought this tray at C&A before they closed down in Kenilworth Centre in Cape Town. So, yeah, maybe it's still available, I don't know. It's from, I think it's a British, Do Crafts, yes, it's a British thing. It's called a clear away tray. So if you can find one, it's really handy. I did have these mini ones in stock a while back. And when we order with Notions again, I will get some more because they are sold out. But it's really cool to have. I like that. See why I love these things? They are so cool. They're just awesome. And with all kinds of beads and embossing powders and stuff, when you are done, you put it back. You close the lid. Now, I normally do this in odd numbers, but I feel like there's stuff missing there and there. So I am definitely not a professional artist. I'm just a crafter that plays around with paper and glue and mediums. And I always tell people I follow my eyes. So if my eyes tell me something is missing, then I go with my gut. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. I think I need a little more here. Last one, I promise. Kind of think I'm framing the Vagabond a bit. Okay, I will look at it without the camera in my midway and we can see if it needs anything else. So let us just do a quick run through. We've got our composition on the top using It's a Vagabond Aviator clear die cuts and die cuts. I like the colors in this range. It's really gorgeous. And so let's hope that my things all stay together, because, oh, let's go to the back. So we've got the side here that has a bit of gold crackle paste, amazing crackle paste, and then just some fun stenciling over the top. You don't have to do it, but I like extra texture. And in here, what we could have added was some gauze and stuff in the background. I could have added gauze to the top there that would have made it look like clouds in the sky. So, you know, you just need to use your imagination. And so if we open this up, we have got our folio here in the middle, and these all flap up if I didn't glue it together. So we've got 1, 2, and as I mentioned earlier, the reason why I did not put pattern paper on the inside is to avoid all the extra bulk. So once you put your photos, I will not put photos on the top. Once you put your photos at the bottom, you then are going to add an extra millimeter or 2. And so with extra paper, it's just going to be a lot more bulky. And we've got a Vagabond on that side, so I love the fact that you can see him there. And I wanted to see the Statue of Liberty over there. And of course, underneath, if we open up this, underneath we've got that extra piece here, so you can add another photograph there. You can add a little pocket here. You can do so much in this little thing. But the fact is that this does not take too long to construct, especially if you're going to follow my construction method using my black construction tape that I have. It's so much faster than a wrap method. And there we go. It is done, people. It is done. Did not take an hour. It took maybe 2.5 hours, but it is done. Let me just open this up quickly and give you a close-up of the cover. And you see, I did say I wanted to put some cord there and I forgot. Scatterbrain. But I love this paper. It came out so nice. Let me see if I can flip the camera. Yes. Sorry, it's a little bit hot in my room today, even with the fan on. So that's it from me, people. I hope you guys enjoyed the session. Thank you for staying with me for so long. I think I've been on for like an hour and a half. Thanks for sticking with me, and I will post in the description box the link to part 1 that was on the Stamperia YouTube channel with Adonis, and there's a Facebook link as well. So I'll put both links in there. So if you want to see part 1, how I actually assembled the base, you can go there and then follow this on afterwards. And that is it from me, people. Have a lovely Sunday further. Until next time, see you in cyberspace. Bye now. I always have to figure out how to close this up afterwards.